Alright, welcome back. And we are at the Lantern Year 2 settlement phase. And if you joined me last time, you would have seen Han and Luke both get taken down by the level 1 White Lion. And Leia and Mara actually survived. So Leia was actually able to age, and she got ambidextrous. And Mara was actually able to age, and she got Monster Claw style. So we may end up moving the axe over to Leia and then giving her another axe, maybe letting her dual wield an axe. But we've set up the settlement phase. Survivors return. We can go ahead and erase all the light and heavy injuries done to our 2 survivors that actually made it through. So I'm doing that now. And Leia took a hell of a lot of damage, but she's all good now. And we'll move on to gain endeavors. So gaining endeavors, we only have 2 returning survivors, so that equates to 2 endeavors. So here's our 2 endeavors. And we'll go on to update the timeline. So we'll fill in the box for Lantern Year number 2. And we will go ahead and do a random draw of the settlement events. Give it a really good shuffle here. It's just so I randomize it for myself, so I make sure that I'm not subconsciously cheating. So give it a good mix. We'll give the dice a roll. It'll be the 8th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th one. Lights in the sky. So I'll go ahead and read that to you. Here's the card. So it says, a spectacular light show erupts against the limitless darkness above. Swirling vivid trails streak overhead. They lift everyone's spirits. The settlement's collective imagination is set aflame. After rolling for any endeavor, you may add 1 or 2 to the result. Oh, that's pretty good. Once per settlement phase, requires graves, which we will have here in a second. So we could have somebody try to get 3 armor in every location. It says a settlement celebrates the lights of the departed as they streak past gain 2 survival. A column of light strikes you. You are filled with the memory of the dead. If insane, add 3 to every location when you depart this Lantern Year. Sounds like that's for everybody. Once per settlement phase, if I have face painting, I don't. And this one requires inner lantern. So maybe we'll get one of those when we actually innovate this year. So we'll hold on to lights in the sky and see if we can actually do one of those. The other settlement event is called Young Rivals, and Young Rivals comes out of the Spindicules expansion. And so we'll go ahead and read Young Rivals. And here we go. Okay, so Young Rivals. Once there were 2 boys. They argued about everything. Nominate 2 male survivors with at least 1 hunt experience in your settlement. I don't have 2 survivors with at least 1 hunt experience. Okay, as the boys grew into men, their enmity bloomed into rivalry. With each hard-earned battle scar, they sought to outdo each other. Choose one of the nominated survivors to gain the following ability. Rival Scar. Gain 1 permanent strength and -1 permanent evasion. Well, they can't, because I cannot nominate 2 survivors with at least 1 hunt experience. One day, one of the boys did not return from a hunt. The remaining boy felt no victory over his rival, only the loss of a friend. Unable to find him in the world, he refused to leave his bed, hoping to see him in his dreams. Choose one of the nominated survivors to die and the other to grieve. The grieving survivor gains the following based on the settlement's death principle. Okay? Time passed until one day he felt a strange vibration. Then he heard the familiar voice of his friend, just outside his hovel. He rushed outside only to see the decaying body of his friend swaying awkwardly in the air. Horrified, he heard a dry rasping that could only be a laugh. For a moment, the monster was revealed before it vanished into the dark, whisking the corpse puppet away. The settlement may now hunt the Spindykils. Add Spindykils to the quarry list on the settlement record sheet. As long as he remains alive, the remaining nominated survivor must depart when the Spindykils is hunted. Okay. So we're going to assume I could nominate 2 survivors with at least 1 hunt experience because I don't have any. I'm surprised they put that in place of Endless Screams, because really it could only be the 2 males if they survive the last 2 Lantern years. We're going to assume it was a story, and we can now hunt the Spindykils. So that's the way I'll play this. Let me know if you guys play it differently, such as you always choose at least 2 survivors and have 1 die. But we're going to assume for this campaign that it was a story told to them, and these survivors were from a previous settlement that told the story. Because I don't have 2 males with 1 hunt experience apiece. So we won't get the +1 strength, but we also won't have somebody die. Seems fair to me. Okay, update the death count. Okay, so we have a death count of 2 now. Han and Luke both dying from the level 1 White Lion. So I've just updated the death count on our sheet. That drops our settlement down to 12. So Luke and Han. And we get our choice now. We'll go ahead and go to Principal Graves, or Principal Death. Is that what it is? Principal Death. Okay, it says the group must decide what to do with their first survivor corpse. We can either harvest or do the grave. So we're going to go ahead and do the grave. I always do the grave. Harvest gives you resources. Grave actually gives you endeavors when people die. So we'll go ahead and do graves. And we'll record that on our sheet. Done. And it says the settlement decides to build a small monument to mark their loss. The settlement gains the Death Principal Graves. Did it. Added it. After adding the card to the settlement, roll a d10. So there's a 10. Nominate a survivor. With tears in their eyes, the survivor takes a shard of rock from the grave and marks themselves with it. They cherish the mark forever. The survivor gains +1 permanent luck. We're going to choose Mara. So Mara's got +1 luck. And the reason I'm going to choose Mara is because she's going to do Fist and Tooth style. So she's already going to crit on a 9 and 10. So now we might as well have her crit on a 8, 9, or 10. That sounds like a good idea to me. So that's done. Okay. And that's the death count. Check the milestone story events. And now we're into development phase. So the first thing we're going to do, as always, we're going to take the 3 basic resources and the endeavor, and we're going to innovate. So we'll take the innovation deck. We're going to give this deck a really good shuffle. And we're going to choose randomly from inside the deck somewhere. So we'll get to choose 2, and we get to choose which innovation we decide to keep. Alright, so we're going to choose this one. It's sticking up, Ammonia, which we could get for free with the White Lion event. But it does give us +1 survival when departing, so that's good. And I'm going to choose this one, which is Inner Lantern. So Inner Lantern gives us Surge, which is awesome. Gives us an extra attack every turn. This is a tough decision because right now our departing survivors yeah, our survival limit is 2, yet our departing survivors get 0 as they depart. So, geez. I really want to do Inner Lantern, but we don't have any survival as we leave, except for what we get from our gear. So I'm gonna have to do Ammonia, and Ammonia does give you some good stuff. So we'll go ahead and add the Ammonia consequences to the deck, which is Bloodletting. Plus, this will protect us against Plague, hopefully. So there's Bloodletting. Put that in the Innovation deck. And that is done. And we'll mark that on the sheet. And we'll mark survival limit 1 when departing on our record sheet. Okay, we still have one innovation or endeavor left. We could do one of these, which is the Graves, once per settlement phase, 1 through 5. Gain 2 survival. And then this one is once per settlement phase. So we can only do this one. So on a 1 through 5, you get 2 survival. On a 6+, a column of light strikes you. You are filled with the memory of the dead. If insane, add 3 to every location when you depart. So that is really only going to be Leia. So do we do that with the innovation, or do we do something else? I really believe this is for one person. A column of light strikes you. You are filled with the memory of the dead. If insane, so that tells me it's for one survivor. Then 1 through 5 says the settlement celebrates the lights of the departed as they streak past. Gain 2 survival. So I think this is for a single person. And we're going to go ahead and let it be Leia. Because wouldn't it be awesome if she had a ton of armor? So let's go ahead and roll for that. And because of the lingering effect, you may add 1 or 2 to the result. Okay? 7. So she's going to get 3 on every location when she departs. So that's awesome for her. So we'll put Lights in the Sky away because I can't do anything else. And now we have all of these resources that we can use. We can use Love Juice and increase our population if that's what we want. But let's see what we need, right? So we really need a spear. We also need another axe. The problem is we only have 2 bones left. So spear or axe so that Leia can dual wield the axe. I mean, she will clobber this white lion, which I think I'm going to go for again next. We don't have any white lion fur. We don't have sinew to make a bow. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make another axe. I'd love to see her dual wield that axe. So So I think that'll be a game changer, at least in the initial game. And we'll see how that works later on as we fight more powerful monsters. So here's our second bone axe. Blah, blah. And I think I'm going to make bone darts. The reason is I don't have anything, and if he goes into ground fighting, there's no way I could stop him from attacking me. Bone darts is relatively cheap. It's just a bone. It's good to have at least one of them in there. So, done. I'm going to make, I'm going to make 3 monster greases. 1, 2, 3 monster grease. Evasion is always a good thing to have. So 1, 2, 3. I got 2 hide. I'm going to go ahead and make some more hide armor. So I'm going to make a vest, and I'm going to make gloves. That is also done. And I have love juice and a broken lantern. So I think I'm just going to archive and record on my sheet. Broken lantern. And the love juice. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use it to do intimacy. So we'll do the intimacy story event. So there it is. And we're going to go ahead and make it Obi-Wan and Satine, which is what we did last time. So we're going to get to roll twice because we have Protect the Young. Pick the highest roll. So you got a 9. That's not an Endeavor roll, so I can't add anything to it. So we get twins, which I think is what we got last time. So we're going to make it 2 males this time, born in Lantern Year 2. All right, and done. So our population goes up to 14 with that. Done. And we'll put this book away because now we're done with all of our resources. We still have 1 Endeavor. We could go ahead and try to Endeavor and get somebody some understanding maybe. Our characters that survived anyways have 0 understanding. But we also have on the sheet Mon Mothma, who's got 1 courage and 1 understanding. We could have Mon Mothma Augury possibly lose our broken lantern. I think what we're actually going to do is we're going to use this and we're going to get a stone nose. Oh, but if we get intimacy, our population goes to 15, and then we're actually going to kick off the society, principal society. Ooh, this is a tough one. Because I think society has accept the darkness, right? Oh yeah. So that's really important, accept the darkness. Good gracious. The decisions that change the course of the game. Mon Mothma could also just get a survival. But this is a +1 or 2 because of the effects of the lights in the sky. We could add a 1 or a 2 because this is an endeavor. So let's go ahead and do that while we have that. So we're going to go ahead and have Mon Mothma Augury with Organ Grinder. So here we go. Aye, it's a 1. So she gets an understanding. So she gets 2 understanding. And we're going to lose the Broken Lantern. Really wanted to get another person so we could do the society principle, but that's okay. Another understanding is what we were hoping for too, just no survival. All right, with that being done, we'll go over here to prepare departing survivors. So when we gather up again next, I'll have all of our characters equipped. I'll show you what that looks like, and then we're going to go ahead and hunt the level 1 White Lion again. We could hunt the Spindicules, but I don't really want to do that right now. I want to get our characters at least one more hunt with the White Lion, get somebody a full set of armor, maybe a couple other weapons, and then we'll hunt the Spindicules. So for right now, we're going to go ahead and hunt the level 1 White Lion. We'll see you next time. And this is going to be our hunt phase for the level 1 White Lion on Lantern Year number 2. I've set up the hunt board, and here we have Leia going out, and because of lights in the sky and her role on that chart, she's got 4 armor everywhere except on the legs. You've got Mara going out. She's going to do Monster Claw style. We gave her a Monster Grease. She's got the Cat Eye Circlet and Bone Darts. She also has a +1 permanent luck, which is why I had her do Fist and Tooth. You have Obi-Wan going out. So Obi-Wan just has a Founding Stone. And let me change out this character because we are taking out Mon Mothma, who is the initial survivor who actually looked at the Lantern Horde, gave it its name, got the +1 courage. So right now she's got 1 courage and 2 understanding. So I wanted to start taking her out to see if we can't get that up. And so we're going to go ahead and, because it's the lion one, we're going to go ahead and let Leia reveal this one. So what we have is Prowling Lion, and I'll read that to you. While the survivors stalk the White Lion, the monster hunts something else. Move the White Lion 1 space away from the survivors on the hunt board in pursuit of its prey. The White Lion starts the showdown with ground fighting in play. So thank goodness we took Bone Darts, so we could actually just run around until we actually wound the White Lion. So we'll move forward 1. The event revealer is now Mara. So Mara's going to reveal this event. It is Aromatic Breeze. So the Hungry Lion sniffs the survivor's musk on the wind. Move the White Lion 1 space toward the survivors on the hunt board. Okay. If it moves into the survivor space, they're ambushed. If the White Lion ambushes survivors, they skip their first turn. Roll a random hunt event. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and roll a random hunt event. Red first, and we'll see what we roll. So it's a 44. We'll zoom out so you guys can actually see. I'll actually just scan down so you can see the roll was a 44. And 44 is Opportunists. While investigating their quarry's tracks, the survivors realize they are hunting not 1 but 2 monsters. The 2 sets of tracks soon separate, leaving the event revealer to pick which tracks to follow. If they follow the larger tracks, continue hunting as normal. If they follow the smaller tracks, start the showdown immediately. At the start of the showdown, the monster suffers 5 wounds. But then you lose half the resources, so we're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and follow the larger tracks and keep going after the larger White Lion. Alright, the event revealer is now Obi-Wan. So Obi-Wan's going to reveal this, and it is just a random hunt event. So we'll go ahead and roll. Red first. It is a 62. Space between the rocks. The survivors are distracted by a dark crack in the endless sea of stone faces. If any survivor has a pickaxe, they strike the ground, causing the crack to expand into a gaping hole. We don't. Otherwise, each survivor rolls a d10. The lowest scoring survivor becomes a straggler. Okay? So we'll roll. This one's for Mon Mothma. It's a 5. Obi-Wan got a 7. Leia, a 5. And an 8. So we have 2 stragglers. Which is Leia and Mon Mothma. The stragglers stoop to gaze into the depths and refuse to stop staring. When the other survivors drag them away, they babble incoherently. Whatever they saw changed them forever. Gain a disorder. Oh, well that sucks. So already Mon Mothma and Leia are going to get disorders. At least they're not dead. So Leia, well, we'll do Mon Mothma first. So Mon Mothma is going to get weak spot. So weak spot states you have an imaginary infirmity. When you gain this disorder, roll a random hit location and record it. If you cannot depart unless you have armor in that location. Oh, that's not so bad. Body. So she has a weak spot. Body. So we'll make sure that she departs with that. That's not so bad. That just forces you to have armor in a certain spot. Right now she doesn't, but it doesn't say. She's already departed, so she cannot depart again unless she has armor on the body. Oh, let's hope we get that for Leia too. Okay, so we'll pull one random disorder for Leia, and it is from another expansion. And this is whatever this is. Never seen it before. Tiny arachnophobia. You are irrationally scared of tiny spiders and the things they produce. You cannot carry any gear with the amber keyword. You cannot gain any resources with the silk keyword. Okay? Tiny arachnophobia. So no amber or silk, which I'm guessing is bad for the Spinnacles campaign or the expansion that we were able to pull at the beginning. But she can get all the other armor now. All right, so that's the end of the hunt phase, because the next step puts us into the White Lion space. And with that being said, the White Lion is going to start with ground fighting in flight. So we'll set that up, and the next time that you see a video, it'll be the showdown for Lantern Year number 2 with the level 1 Light Lion. Thanks for joining.